Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's the CN Show. My name is Kalista Njoku. This is a show where we create sickle cell awareness using my journey and the journey of other warriors. The aim is actually to help every other warrior out there live to their greatest potentials. So this morning I'll be talking about living with sickle cell disease in Nigeria. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, please like the video, click on the notification bell button so you know when I upload a new video. Right, let's get into the video. Okay, living with sickle cell disease in Nigeria can be very challenging. Yes, number one, coming from the point of view of the ignorance associated with this disease. I remember in my last video I was telling us about the myths surrounding sickle cell disease. Sickle cell warriors in Nigeria are majorly seen as Ogbanji, like there are children who come to torment their parents, there are children who would die prematurely. So this ignorance actually surrounds this ignorance really tends to lead to a great deal of discriminations against people who are living with sickle cell disease. Yeah, both in school, both in workplaces and all of that. You hear people say, I can't give you a job here because who knows the day you will be strong and who knows the day you will not be strong, you will be sick. Not the one that if you start work today, 2 out of 3 weeks you'll not be in the office. You know, stuff like that. It can really be challenging. Now, this ignorance has also led to people drawing several false conclusions regarding us, and also using terms that are really hurting and demeaning to us. You hear people calling sickle cell warriors sicklers, and that's coming from the fact that we often take ill. So that's not to blame them, but the right term, like I mentioned in my last video, is actually sickle cell warrior, not sicklers. So in Nigeria, if you have the sickle cell disease, they actually call you a sickler. Now, living with sickle cell disease in Nigeria, taking care of yourself, it's expensive. Yes, ranging from the fact that the meals you have to eat, you have to take water, good water. The average person can actually just take sachet water and will be fine, but warriors would have to go extra miles most of the time to take bottled water, which is like almost like more about 100 times more expensive than the sachet water. Now, also talking about the drugs we take can be very expensive. You know, just coming down from the Proguanil, that oftentimes you cannot get them in like you can't get them to count them for you. You'd have to get the complete container, which goes for like 8,000 naira, and you have to be taking one every day, and it's like 100 in the container. Okay, maybe some people might say that it's not that expensive. 8,000 naira can is just something that besides going to stay for up to 3 months. Yes, but it's not a lot of persons that can afford it, and this is one of the many drugs that you have to take. Like me, I take blood tonic, and the blood tonic, they come in different prices. You'd have to make sure that you take it like regularly like that. So minus other drugs too, like when you go to the hospital, it's more or less very expensive. There's no healthcare plan that covers the sickle cell disease, unlike some other sicknesses. For instance, we know the actions, the aids that are done for people who are living with HIV/AIDS, how most of their drugs, the price is subsidized, and how you can actually treat some diseases with the NHIS plan, but the sickle cell disease is not covered. There's no plan like that. So if you're going to undergo maybe if you're going to undergo hip replacement, blood transfusion, all of those, you'd have to pay every payment, make every payment by yourself, starting from buying card to the last drug you would take. We know how expensive that can be. And also, since warriors tend to fall ill often, we spend more than the average person on medication. Yeah. Okay. What else? There's another thing with how warriors are treated on admission. Let me tell you. In most of the public hospitals, the way they treat warriors is really not welcoming. In private hospitals, yes, they may just attend to you and treat you very well because your money is speaking. But like me, I've had cases where I go to the hospital, and you know one thing with crisis is always like an emergency case. But you'd have to stay on a long queue. First and foremost, after waiting on a long queue, the disclaimer here is it's not all hospitals in Nigeria, neither is it all public hospitals in Nigeria, but some public hospitals in Nigeria, especially the ones in rural areas like that, you'd have to stay on a very long queue. And then because of you're writing in pain, sometimes you're crying, you have nurses and some medical practitioners shout on you and be like, are you the only person in pains? They'll just ask you to control yourself now. Are you the only person who is sick? This, that, and all of that. Not knowing what you really have to pass through, like not knowing how severe the pains can be. And when you say that your case is an emergency, probably because they don't see a swelling on the point where you say it's hurting, probably your hand or your leg is paining, you're experiencing crisis, because they don't see a swelling, they just take it as if it's one of those things that will just go. So they don't really treat us serious. And sometimes you won't blame these medical practitioners, because some of these medical practitioners, because most of them don't really have the literature as regards the nature of this disease and all of that. Okay. And also, the management of sickle cell disease in Nigeria is poor. This is also this is like a point out to what I just said before. This is like re-emphasizing it, both from the part of the caregivers, both from the part of the warriors themselves. Yes, until a few years ago, I really didn't understand the nature of this, as I didn't really understand my system, the nature of the sickle cell disease. So when I had crisis, I thought a lot of things except what was the cause. Yes, I thought a lot of things. Maybe I'm having pains, and I'll think is witchcraft or something, not knowing that probably when they check my PCV is low and all of that. So, but if I don't go to the hospital, I won't know this. And how many people have access to good hospitals? How many sickle cell warriors have access to good hospitals? They are really very, very few. So people naturally resort to various medical ways to treat sickle cell disease, and which oftentimes leads to other complications. Now, so this is just to say that medical care providers and caregivers and warriors, let's take our time to study the literatures out there. Let's understand and forward it. Let's put in money. Let's bring in money. Let's bring in money. Let's fund researches concerning this sickle cell disease. Another thing I would like to talk about is the issue of bone marrow transplant. Bone marrow transplant offers a potential cure, but then the high cost, the lack of suitable donor in a country like Nigeria, the cost, most people are living below poverty level, and you also have warriors amongst this category. They really don't have the access to it, and the fact that a lot of persons are struggling to make ends meet. You have very few people staying in the hospitals with warriors when they are undergoing crisis. So the warrior would literally have to sort himself out. A family member may come and stay, but would have to go out to attend to other things. So the warrior may have to stay on her own all through. Not like in other countries where we can have somebody who, as in personal nurses and all of that. Now, okay, so I've actually talked about the way with sickle cell disease in Nigeria is actually a bit difficult, but not impossible. As a warrior in Nigeria, you can make it not difficult. It's not impossible to live with sickle cell disease in Nigeria and be awesome and be amazing. Yes, you can, but you have to put on every health practices in place that you're told to. You have to ensure you take enough rest, take enough water. You have to ensure you take your medications religiously. And I like to also say something. You can belong to volunteer for foundations, sickle cell awareness creating foundations that are based on sickle cell of warriors. It will also grant you access to medication too. So as in medications like subsidized medications and all of that. So and also it will give you a platform to give back to society. Hope you learn answer your question. The topic you would like us to talk about, please comment on the comment section and I'll be sure to share with it. So tell me your experience as a warrior living in Nigeria, as a sickle cell warrior living in Nigeria, or as a caregiver. I'll be sure to interact with you. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.